I began my career in development and in Africa, actually, when I was in the Peace Corps in Kenya from 1964 to 1966. And in many ways, all my life I've felt, well, my mature life, like I'm one inch of Kenya. The aim of this conference is really to bring about partnerships and to discuss the issues of the day in regard to agricultural development and agribusiness development in Africa. Why on Africa? Because it is where we believe there is the greatest opportunity and perhaps the greatest need at this particular moment in time. It is really a Pan-African conference. People are here from all over Africa, from South Africa, from Western Africa, from Senegal, from Francophone Africa and Anglophone Africa. That's where they're speaking French, where they're speaking English. There are people here from Burkina Faso, from Chad. There are people from all over East Africa, from North Africa. Yes, it is truly a Pan-African conference. The issues here have been aired in a very pragmatic and very direct manner. Rwanda is a country that has done very, very well over the last 10 years. And in some ways, it's been a model and inspiration for others. And so things said here are said succinctly, clearly, and they're very good models to follow. In addition, it's been open, very open. The Minister of Agriculture from Nigeria was here. The Minister of Agriculture from Gabon was here. It's been really wonderful. And the Nigerian minister addressed the group and explained all the challenges of his country and what he's doing, and he was really an inspiration. So it's been a really open event. I really believe that the lack of regional integration has been one of the major problems with growth in Africa. You know, Africa accounts for 3% of global world trade, okay, about 3%. And they only trade 10% of their produce with one another, compared to Europe, where 65% of what is produced in Europe is traded in Europe. So, of course, landlocked countries in Africa are also particularly hard hit, and the costs for them are 84% or 80% higher than they are for those coastal countries. So if there were regional markets and regional trade, a lot of these inequities would be sort of leveled to some extent. So I think it is extremely important that the regional hubs, like the East Africa community and others, the West Africa communities, come to fore and really become, important markets, regional markets. If Africa can come together regionally, and if these land problems, particularly land registration, land right problems can be resolved. Here there have been a lot of discussion about how the smallholders really must come together. For 1 acre of land, it's very hard to mechanize that. But if they were holdings that were united together, such that they could be worked on together mechanically, that would do so much to increase agricultural production here in Africa. So if those issues can be addressed directly, like they are being addressed here in Rwanda, actually, then I think there's terrific potential for Africa agriculture, and Africa, rather than being fed by so much of the world, would be feeding much of the world. And that's my hope, that in my lifetime that will come to pass. These kinds of exchanges are particularly important, but I think that people that come to these kinds of conferences, they should always come with examples. We hear so much here about the need for research, or the need for sustainability. It's a magic word, sustainability. Frankly, if something is not economically viable, it's not going to be sustainable. So it goes without saying that if you have a successful enterprise, it's going to be sustainable. And if you don't, it isn't. So, there are a lot of words thrown around here and a lot of truisms. And I think that people come to exchange, and people who come to learn at these things would be much better oriented if they came with very specific examples and thought in terms of successes and why successes, and also failures and why failures, and what can we do to remedy the failures, and what can we do to promulgate or to extend the successes.